Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. I am a professional intuitive empath and today we're going to get into the reading. And I don't know what the title's going to be. Right now what's floating through my head is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I don't know exactly if that will stick, but we will get into it and we will see what happens here. So I was divinely guided today to pull some cards. I've got us started, guys, only because I wanted to jump in and they said this was going to be meaty. But what I want to do is clarify with some other decks that I have around. So we will be doing that as well. But let's go over what we've got here. The Star, so our new opportunities, new things coming into our life, new energies that we're manifesting, new abilities to be better than we've ever been before. Who are we being better for? That's the question. Are we being better for others around us? Are we being better for ourselves? Are we investing in our resources wisely? See, the thing about this is there's a really clear choice here on this card. I love the depiction, the illustration. She is pouring her resources, water, which goes back into the water, which would be not necessarily a waste because the water is already plentiful. It'll go back to the original resource. But what is she doing here? She's also pouring water into and onto the land where something can grow. And they deliberately point this out to us here regarding these flowers that are growing. These red flowers that indicate passion, but they also indicate stability, that root chakra color of red. This is an Aquarius energy. And when Aquarius, we are in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We've just crossed over into this Aquarian age, which has seen our world completely shift. And I feel like when this card's coming up, what your angels are asking you to understand is that your resources are valuable and they want you to mind your investments, especially at this time. So this message I already can see is going to have multi-layered meanings. We will be dealing with our business and our finances, and we will also be dealing very much with a romantic energy here. So for some people, there will be some divine masculine, divine feminine stuff going on. And I feel like there's also some things about entrepreneurship happening here too. So we're going to take a look at all of that. And the reason I say entrepreneurship is because we have the sun, this very Leo energy of expansion, and I'll even turn it upside down and maybe you guys can see that better, of expansion, of being in the right place, of enjoying one's days, of children, of solar plexus being in balance, that self-esteem, of creation, of tilling the loom. Now here's the thing, and this is the thing that I have found to be quite true in my life. When you are given situations that don't always feel amazing, you know, as she is here at her loom doing her work and spinning this ball into magic, the thing that shows up here is that when we have situations in our life, we have the opportunity to stay stagnant in that or to spin it into gold. That's been something that's been floating through my head recently, about spinning a terrible situation into actual gold, money, finances that hit your bank account. And I feel like we too often don't think about that because we think what I would like to do is to maybe just not move past that moment, but they're saying that there are so many. This card is a card of no shadow. That's really interesting. This is a card of not being in our shadow self, being in the vibration of seeing clearly, of being free, of having boundless energy. When I'm looking here, I'm seeing a lot of things happening, but I don't feel like you are owning this energy yet. Your angels are saying this energy is here for you. This is where we're taking you, but you're waiting for something, and that's communication. This Eight of Wands, but it's in verse. And lately they've been working with me on shadow integration, and so I have been reading my inverses. I usually do not, but I understand that there is depth to the story when you read it in verse. this is about waiting for the communication to come in. It's been delayed. And so it is, see, like I said, I feel like this is not in it. This is where they want to take you. I don't feel like you've embodied this full esteem yet. I don't feel like you've embodied that. And the communication is going to come in, but I feel like it comes in with a passion that may be a bit alarming for you. Okay? This is Knight of Swords, guys. So if you're waiting for communication from a DM, understand that this is how they come in. They are brash and they are passionate, but listen to passion. Passion shows up in many different ways, right? So I want you guys to be mindful, if you are divine feminine waiting for this to happen and this reintegration to happen. Be wary, because this person is not, they're so focused with passion that, yeah, they're on their mission, but it could hurt someone. And I want you to just understand that. Understand that. When I was asking what the situation was about, and they started showing me this kind of very bound, it was a very, that's why I said mirror, mirror. There was a very bound kind of lower energy. And I thought, who is this? And to me, honestly, I feel like it's divine masculine, because the imagery, because the energy, because when I'm looking at this emperor here, what I see is a tyrant. I see a tyrant. And what I see here in the card, for those of you that can see that, I see a karmic. Bear with me, guys. You see the glazed over look? There's no life in the karmic's eyes. There's no energy there. There's just this kind of glazed over look happening in this situation. And the Emperor is literally ruling over the situation, or wants to be ruling over the situation. But on the other side, who is that? So we can reverse this. Is this you, Divine Feminine, or is this you? But there's three things going on here. This is triangulation inside of the relationship with your Divine Masculine, thinking that he is ruling the roost, really. And that behavior from Divine Masculine has caused you to feel left out in the cold, my loves. To feel abandoned. To feel like promises were made that weren't kept. To feel like energy was invested that was a waste. To feel like the wolves, my God, the wolves with their teeth bared, canine bicuspids, snarling, are chasing you away from a thing that you once saw bright in the sun. The thing that once warmed your cheeks and grew sustenance around you. Eight of Swords. But now that thing that once shone bright in the sun has become bondage and entrapment. Now the thing about this Eight of Swords, when we're dealing with hate, we're dealing with what we are going to be creating and what our abundance is. And a man who can't untie or unlock his hands or loose his legs, or a woman, a Divine Feminine, who cannot do that, is not someone who can embrace abundance when the universe brings it, can they? A Divine Masculine who is in a bondage cannot bring sustenance, cannot put out the fire. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning, is what Divine Masculine says. Meaning my passions have always been here. They are ancient. They are old as time. They are old as earth and rocks. They are old and ancient. And this lust, this passion, this deep desire to be completely in control and not yielding is something that I can't fight. It's just there. There is this very, almost heavily, almost too heavy masculine energy that shows up here. And what does it cause Divine Masculine to do, guys? This is, who's the beggar, who's the merchant? What does it cause Divine Masculine to do? It means that Divine Masculine is splitting their energy. It means that you're not able to get what you need. See, if this is about nourishment, and if the Star card is about investing your resources, and again, look at this. Here we have still the triangulation. Quite literally for us on the Star card, they have drawn the triangle. But here's what's happening here. Also, another level of triangulation. Do you see it? Another level of triangulation. So what's happening is that two people are being given pieces of what they feel like is their sun. But what's happening here is that in this card, it's because it makes them feel important. That's what I see, is someone who's vainglorious, someone who is pompous, someone who's kind of dwelling in that energy. And if you're always splitting your time and energy, then one person will be malnourished. And if divine feminine, you're listening and thinking, I don't know what happened or why that would be my reality or how to fix it, because if he says he didn't start the fire and he can't put this out even though he maybe did, then what happens? Well, what happens is justice. We have karma that comes in to balance the scales, and that can be swiftly. It doesn't escape me that karma here is drenched in emerald green, dripping in clothes that represent heart chakra. What has been taken off course here, Divine Feminines? That heart. What do you have in your hand, Divine Feminines? More and more to give. The pomegranate, the fruit of love, the fruit of bondage. If you know your Greek mythology, we're dealing with, was it Persephone? Or Hades? And this trick to bite the apple, well, this was the apple, because it could keep you there forever, seed by seed. The wheels of justice turn above and we move into a new cycle. But justice is Libran energy, ever true, stands to give us not just the justice we deserve, but to expose and bring things into the light of day. You know, they always say what is done in the darkness will eventually come to the light. And which side is brighter? Well, clearly the light. The truth is there. The divineness of your masculine is there. But the corruptness and the shadow is there too. Divine feminine, our angels allow us to see this so that we can evolve. Oh no, this must be about them. Yeah, some of this is about them, but this is about you and knowing your worth. Because why would you be in a relationship, reading the inverse here, with someone who cannot control their lusts, their passions, or their desires, has no self-restraint or self-respect or respect at all? Why would you be in a situation with someone who would once again triangulate you and put you at risk emotionally, maybe physically, maybe spiritually? Make no mistake that when someone is out of sorts, now you're looking at it right side up, so I should show it to you this way. The way that I read it is as an inverse, so it'll switch it here on our camera. But what we're dealing with someone who's dealing in addiction, and was dealing in addiction. They are aware now and they're trying to step out of it, but they were, and that was definitely impeding clarity and the ability to rise to the higher vibration. That was definitely impeding their ability to discern the darkness from the light. You see? So do you want to be with somebody like that? Well, you say, well, I can deal with an addiction. I can deal with that. You know, sometimes addiction, it happens. We all have our vices. We all fight with our thing. But the next card that came out was about the Seven of Swords. So now you have an addict and a liar. Do you see what we're dealing with here? Now we have an addict and a liar. Now we have someone who is doing all of the things. And how do you cope with all of the things? Being, again, this wolf here shows up, shows its face, our shadow and our light, sneaking away. Now the Seven of Swords, to me, more vicious than the Five, not just because of the numerology of it, but this is a person who is well practiced at their craft, who is good at being the liar and the thief, who is good at getting away with things, and now actually considers himself quite the master, quite the manipulator. They consider themselves to be really excellent at this craft. And so when these two things show up, I say, oh, nay, we can't do that, can we? Not if we're going to stay pure. Divine feminine, if you're here watching, you're a spiritual person. These energies, this masculine's been dabbling in, are detrimental for your health on so many levels. And the thing about it to know more than anything is that there will be energy transference. So for some of you asking, you're sitting there thinking, why? Why did this happen? Why was this taken away from me? Why didn't it work out the way I thought? I always thought that if I watered the right thing and I made the right investment, the payoff would happen. If I put my energy, this beautiful Aquarian energy, into the right area and not wasted it, then I would be the one who ended up with my wishes granted. 9 of Cups. But let's look at this if we're taking it a different way. When it is in verse, we're dealing with a selfish person. Doesn't this person look like they might be selfish? Don't they look like they might have something to hide? This is someone who wants all of the cups for themselves. In the right way, it would be wishes granted. But your divine masculine has wanted all of the cups, and the Libran energy of justice has come in to say no. And then here you show up, divine feminine. Here you show up, the Empress, saying, this doesn't work. This is destabilizing for my mind, body, and soul. And even though I love you, I will turn my back on you. And I will leave. I will walk away. Because I don't have time for this kind of stuff. The energy of the Empress is that of a person who understands their worth and has been struggling. I want to point this out for you guys that have been in this situation. She has been struggling, and I do note her color, that green, which, let's talk about shadow and light. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? My sweet, sweet divine feminines, have you been in a jealous energy? Have you been lowering your vibration to ask questions that you don't want to know the answers to because divine masculine drug you into a triangulation, three-way, and the competition of it made you start to think. You didn't know you may have been there, but now I see you here. And on the other side of that shield, you're looking at it and you're thinking, you know what? I don't have to know if I am the fairest, but you're not drained of that, of the imbalance. I see this as initially on shadow side, poison, but then when it's corrected, we're getting into the green of heart chakra. We're getting into the balance. See, this is why divine masculine was attracted to you, because you were this Empress, because you were this brilliant emerald green. You were radiating love. You were a cup of love. You were abundance. You were stability. You were all things grounded. And sometimes when people haven't dealt with their own shadows, when people haven't dealt with their own addictions, when people haven't dealt with their own proclivities for or penchant for living on the darker side, then it can take us out of our balance. So what was once brilliant, radiant, heart chakra energy turned into doubt. It turned into a knock. It took us away from solar plexus. And that's why, guys, the back is turned. Let's clarify this a little bit. We do have some signifiers here that I pulled prior to, but I'm going to clarify with another deck. Let's see what we come up with here. Guys, let's show divine masculine right now. Okay. The Fool. I pity the Fool. Now, here's the thing, and I don't want you to be in a worried state, but here's the thing about this. We know what that means on its face, but what it also means is that they're ready to move into a different direction. And for some of my divine feminines watching, that may be tough to hear, but I'm going to always be honest with you here. This is absolutely necessary for growth. You know what I want you to consider this, divine feminines? You have transmuted the energy. By standing in your power and your strength, you have created a portal for this person, this soulmate, this person you came in with, to ascend. But there is ascension. See, when justice is there, we know what the ascension is going to be. But what they're saying is you have to release this. Now, literally, this comes up here as one of our signifiers, release, which is the card 13, translating to our numerological angel number of 4 for dealing with our work ethic, the work we put into things. So they're saying release the fool, my loves. Release the fool and start to move forward, because up until now with the fool, you've been awaiting results. Here's what just flipped out. I can't make it up. You've been awaiting results awaiting results is what they had me pull here earlier. Awaiting results while someone juggled you, while someone made you not the priority. Do you remember as we were looking back at that Empress and the duality of her in both green and green? That I'm unhappy, I'm being poisoned, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel like love, this doesn't feel like what I gave, what is wrong, what is off, questioning herself, versus her balanced, healthy, emerald green, radiant heart chakra energy. That's why we were awaiting results, because you were being juggled, yeah? All right, let's take a look here. You were being juggled, and here you are, right from the heaven to your divine masculine there. The bush in disguise, and the angels are saying, drink of this cup of divine love and you will be healed. But they didn't want to. They had other things going on. Again, the threes, they're just going to make it really poignant for us. They had other things going on. Here's the thing though, guys. Yes, you may have offered the cup of divine love, but when you walk away, and the walk away's already happened if you're here, my God, when you walk away, this is it. Now, what I love about this, and this is to be understood, this is a Scorpio card. Scorpionic energy deals with death, transmutation, transformation through sex, lower vibration, and energy. Now, it doesn't always have to be lower vibration, but it definitely means transcendence through sex and death. And we would consider death a lower vibration, would we not? Abundant you. Beautiful, beautiful. Nine of Pentacles, my lovely divine feminine. But let's get back to this. This has felt like a death from one or both of you. We mirror each other, so your divine masculine has felt it too, and they have been mourning too. But they put themselves in this position by making continuous choices. My divine feminine, you're not here if you are not articulate and a thinking woman or man, because our divine masculine and feminines can show up in either body. So you're not here if you're not in your balanced self at this point. The decision to release means that you were stepping into your balance, because we held on to this thing, right? There's an energy here where it's like, especially if you're dealing with the addiction. See, addiction's a tricky thing. When we love our divine masculine and they're in addiction, what happens? We want to save them. Divine feminine, what are we? Mostly empaths, right? So when that happens, we want to rush in and we want to spare them of all of the hard work, of all of the energy. We want to be the savior for them. But it's not always for us to do the saving. When this comes up, when we're dealing with the hermit, we're dealing with retreat. But what I want you to see is that, you see how we mirror each other? Mirror, mirror on the wall. If we were to look at the fool is also walking off the edge of a cliff and doesn't know it. Do you see that the hermit is very aware of what comes? You see the mirroring we've done here with the light and the shadow. The thing about the hermit that I like for you, and I want you to channel divine feminines, because you've been worried that your masculine has been the hermit, reserved, pulled in, and non-communicative. All these things are true. Slow moving. This is a Capricorn energy. So that's an earth energy. It takes time. It's slow. But your angel said to you, if you can flip it and reverse it, and you can get into the mirroring, what you need to do, what the hermit does is they know their own way. They do not seek outside counsel. They light their own path from an internal light, my loves, the sun. You remember that? An internal light, they light their own paths, and it's a spiritual quest. It's a sacred quest. They have a myopic view on what's right in front of them, and they share it with no one around them, and they are protected. If you have been in a triangulated situation where your karmic has been dealing with someone who's been dealing with energies that are lower vibrational, vibrational, or your karmic themselves have been inviting in lower vibrational energies, you must don on your cloak. You must sage and protect your house. You must move yourself into a place of divine supreme protection. Because you love this man, there is an open portal, or this woman, or this divine masculine. There is an open portal to your spirit directly. Do not play games with this. I do not say this to alarm you. I say it because I have lived it. I want you to protect yourself from the energies, because they can creep in and they can be very, very vicious. They're not saying that anything here inherently is bad, but what they're saying is stop worrying about what divine masculine's doing and get to the business of what you need to do. And what you need to do right now is to get small, get quiet, and go within and ask yourself, what took you to the edge of this cliff? How did you get here? What's the connection from the past? What's the family pathology that ties in? There's always something more going on under the surface in these soulmated and divine masculine and feminine relationships. I've noticed here on YouTube that it's all about like, does he love me? I want to know. Will they come back? Yes or no? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're on my channel, we're going to do the work. And this is the real work. This is why we end up in these situations. This is why we manifest and attract them. These are the soul contracts we tie ourselves into. And if we're going to be tethered, then you better figure out a way to become Houdini. You better figure out a way to become David Blaine and untie yourself from that knot, because it is the only way you can ever heal this connection. Let's go forward. You are the great healer. You are greatly abundant, and divine masculine will observe and notice that. I love this card. Okay, it reminds me of Miss Cleo. Call me now, right? You are abundant, divine feminine. You have everything. You don't need anybody to feed you the grapes. You'll feed them to yourselves. This is so funny for me in so many ways, and I just want you to understand you're beautiful. And not only are you beautiful, but you're wise, and you called it. You knew it. You are just waiting, sitting back and observing. I'm not playing the game with you. I see you. I see you because I know you, because I've known you for lifetimes. It's a powerful thing. And let's just see what happens, where this goes. Just pull a couple more cards, and we're going to pull some divine doors. Really, the message today wasn't about we're going to fix it for you. It's about we're going to acknowledge what's happening with you. This Wheel of Fortune comes up here, as I said earlier, the Wheel of Fortune that showed up above somebody's head. And I want you to understand that what I noticed here is that right now we are, in fact, mirroring each other here still in this card, as they are not facing each other. Their heads are turned away from each other, and they are off on their own journeys, but still intertwined here and connected. If you see this hand, here he has the cup of love, the chalice that is extended, and here she is draped royally. We all know who our kings and queens are. We all know who our divine masculine and feminine is. We know our rightful place, but sometimes that wheel has to turn and someone's getting thrown off. Now, a lot of us are looking and thinking, well, is that the karmic? Has it finally happened? No, 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 no. No, not in that way. This is the hand of God here turning. This is the universe in infinite wisdom saying, oh, you were up. You were up. And somebody else was down, and other people were affected, and other people were hurt and injured by lies and deceit and drama and games. And we're going to make sure that all of this gets right, and that we give you a full spin on that karmic wheel. And karmic wheels, isn't that interesting? When we are dealing with that, remember we talked about that Empress card, the duality in her, right? Healthy, balanced, radiant, green, emerald, heart chakra centered, then jealous, insecure, not unsure. What's that about for us? Well, it's part of who we are. So many cards popped out here. The Emperor again shows up. Wow, our divine masculine is present today. I want it my way is what this card says to me. I want it my way. And you said, okay, then I guess we're going to have it separate ways then. Because always your way is no way, and I need a way forward. I love these waters here. I love the momentum of moving into a new thing. I love crossing seas and turbulence. I love taking shelter. I love that someone else is in the boat. That's interesting to me, Divine Feminines. We so often feel alone in this journey, and to me, this is Holy Spirit that's in the boat. This is the divine energy that flows through us and our intuition that guides us as we move towards unknown destinies. We are charting a new course. If you're watching this, this is not going to be what you think it's going to be. This is not me saying you are a happily ever after, and it doesn't mean you're a happily ever never. It just means that there is a journey that's happening and it's separate because we mirror each other. If they started a journey with a karmic on their own, why wouldn't you think that universe, source, God, infinite wisdom, angels would bless you with your own journey? And you say, but I don't want to go on this journey. I wanted to be on the journey with them. Yeah, we know. They know. But that was not what was going to happen to get you to your strongest. That was not what was going to happen to get you to the place where you knew what divine love was. Divine love with them, you ask? I don't know. Because right now, this is where we are. Everything that we knew that was comfortable has broken down, has it not? We are in a different realm, a different space, and a different energy. Life is different, not just for our lovers, but in the collective. And for now, these two have to find out who they are, and there is no guarantee that they come back together. The guarantee is that you got the karmic and the soul lesson. You're not the karmic, Divine Feminine, don't get me wrong. But remember I said if you're here, do the work. There's a deeper thing going on. Why were you attached to Divine Masculine? What was your heart wound that had you attached? What thing from your past had you attached to Divine Masculine's shadow side? Take a look at that, because they said it had you out of flow. And when we're out of flow, number 10, endings or new beginnings happen. Your heart is not open, so I must go. An excerpt from, or a stanza from Madonna's song. I can't think of what it is. Your heart is not open, so I must go. If your heart is not open and I must go, then that means somehow I'm going with my own flow. I don't want to leave. God knows I tried, but you were here being the emperor, and you lied and you lied. You lied and you lied. You lied and you lied. And so one day, an angel came as I was sitting in my sorrow. And the angel said, because you've put in so much work, I've got a cup of sunshine to borrow. It's more than a cup of sunshine, my Divine Feminines. This is your way out. This is your rebalancing. This is the poison draining out of your body from the toxic lower vibrational energy that you were just taking through. I'm going to pull one heart chakra card. This is dreams coming true. 9 card, higher spirituality, ascended masters, being of service, spiritual business, career, communication, using your voice, Gemini energy, communication, Mercury. They're just running through it. And they asked me to pull this 2 card. What else happens here? It's time to spread your wings. You were not open, so I had to go, and now it's time for me to find my own flow. And if we find our way back on this journey, that is not for either of us to know, because you made choices for both of us, and so I had to go. Spread your wings, Divine Feminine. Walk into a new day. Success and growth is yours. Abundance and